the beginning, what was your childhood like, and what was your first footballing memory?
Yeah, it was brilliant. I had loads of fun growing up. Obviously played tons of football, but spent a lot of family time as well. My earliest football memories would have been playing with my brother. He's 7 years older than me, so very much used to take me down the field, stick me in goal, boot balls at me, pretty much. And then we just take it in turns really from there. It'd just be us two sort of kicking the ball around for hours on end. Coming back absolutely covered in mud, mum hosing us down outside the front door. But yeah, happy childhood. Like I say, played tons of football, local football, Sunday league, Saturday football, everything, anything I could get my hands on. Really, school football, county football, everything.
And like with your mum, I mean, was your mum very encouraging in terms of kind of active sports and football in a particular?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, she used to come to. Well, we spent a lot of time initially, obviously, watching my brother's games because I would have been too young to have a team, so he would have been playing like under 10s, under 11s, and I'd go along and we'd watch the games. And well, I wouldn't watch obviously a game. I'd be running up and down the side of the pitch, kicking a ball around myself. But yeah, then we've always been very sort of family orientated in that respect. My stepdads came into my life when I was about 7, I think, and we had an instant connection regarding he was very athletic, very sporty, and big football fan himself. So we hit it off straight away, really. And then since then, it's been sort of football every day since.
Mm. And what was the first football match you watched on television? I'm actually really intrigued to know.
Oh, I don't know. I used to watch everything. So I was obviously, I'm getting on a bit now. So when Sky Sports, the it wasn't as good as it is now. I think we have so many games on all the time. But it would have been Arsenal, definitely. Whether or not I would have sat and concentrated for the 90 minutes, I don't know. But um, once I got a little bit older, I started to become a little bit of a stato. I knew everything about every Arsenal player. Um, my brother used to get pretty annoyed because I wouldn't shut up for the whole game talking about how many assists that Burkamp had in the last 7 games or whatever it was. But um, yeah, I've always been a big sort of devourer of football, if you like. I love watching games because I think like everyone else, even though we play football for a living, we still love the game, love everything about it. So
Mm. And was you that type of boy that would go to bed with a football? Was a football close to you, or what was that kind of emotional attachment with the ball itself?
yeah, probably not so much, to be honest. I loved being outside, kicking the ball around more than anything. I don't think my mum would have allowed footballs in the house, to be honest. So yeah, it was very much first thing I wanted to do when I get up was have breakfast, get some clothes on, and get outside, whether that be the garden. Luckily enough, I had a big field outside my house, so would spend hours with my best mate playing out there. So just morning till evening, really.
Mm.
Like I alluded to earlier, I'm getting on a bit now. So we had like a PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, or whatever,
Oh
but
wow,
social
PlayStation
media
One! Wow.
social media wasn't obviously a thing, so it was very much like you didn't have much to do unless you were outside. So
Mm, mm. And what was the age that you consciously knew that, yeah, you know what, I'm actually kind of good at this sport? And literally, how like did your family and your peers kind of react to your talent?
I think I was when I was initially growing up. I grew up in Kent, like around sort of Chatham, Gillingham area, which is
Mm.
obviously a hotbed for football. So I was lucky enough that I played in a pretty good side with with some good players. So I wouldn't say I really stood out at 7, 8, 9. Probably didn't really, and even sort of when we moved up to Cambridge, Peterborough way, where it is absolutely not a hotbed of football. There is no football around there whatsoever. Peterborough, Cambridge, and Norwich are about the only ones. Northampton, and even those are sort of they're not close to each other. So, but we had some good players. We had players that played like in like academies for Histon, who were I don't even know if they're still going actually, but they would have been in the conference. And we had a lad in our team that, and my school as well, that played for Wales all the way up to 18s, 19s, I think. So I wasn't even the best player at my school. Not even by a long way. There was 3 or 4 probably better than me. So it wasn't until I was sort of 16, 17 and made my first sort of steps into the men's game where I probably started to stand out a little bit. I think physically I'd grown quite a lot. Not that I'm particularly big now, but I was very small growing up. So yeah, 15, 16 was probably when people started to notice that I had a talent for it, if you like. In terms of my family's reaction to it, I think obviously your family always believe in you, so they probably believed in me more than I believed in myself. Well, that'd definitely be true, to be honest. So I think once the men's football came around and I started to stand out, it was a case of just riding the wave. Really, I was just really enjoying the football, and obviously my family were coming to watch games and watching me getting booted up in the air by fully grown men. So.
And so, like, making that transition into high school as well, there's a lot of distractions, but of course academically, there's that's kind of something that you know all like parents want our kids to like achieve at the highest that they possibly can. I mean, what was your social circle like academically? How did you treat that area of your life, and and of course like the sports side of it as well? What was the balance?
Yeah, so obviously I've got a 4-year-old now, so it's funny because he asked me what I was like at school and stuff, and I was probably like right on the edge of being. I'd probably call it cheeky, but it wasn't far off being like a little bit too far, I would say. But I've got a really good circle of friends that I'm still friends with now, all similar interests and things like that. So, and they're all just really grounded people who have gone on to have success in sort of every field that they've gone into. So I was lucky with that, and we were quite a disciplined household, I would say. So there was never distractions. It was the fear factor was too big for me, I think. So I never really got involved in anything like that. It was very much just if things started to go south, I'd just leave and go home really because I didn't want to face the consequences of what was going to happen at home if I got caught doing anything like that. So yeah, I was very lucky in that respect. With a good social circle, like you said, and obviously my family as well always kept me on the straight and narrow. I always enjoyed school, to be honest. I still study now, so it must have been all right. So yeah, it was always like you say. It was stressed to me the importance of it, and I'm glad that I managed to obviously come into football the way I did, having got all my qualifications and stuff.
And you can say that as at high school that you wasn't really like the best, and there were like other players that were better than than you. And literally, how like did you fit into your football side of it at like high school? Were you like a vocal type of player? Actually, what position did you take up playing at high school? Very intrigued.
So I was always small and always quick. So it was either sort of out wide or up top, really. I've always played there. I don't remember ever playing anywhere else, to be honest. I don't think I'd do much of a job anywhere else. I'm not even sure I'd want to play if I had to play centre half, to be honest. So it was very much just go to school, come home, play all weekend, games on a Sunday, and then I'd probably where we used to play was there was tons of pitches, so we'd usually just finish the game and just in my kit just stay up there and kick a ball around even longer, to be honest. So but I think I never really got tired of it because it wasn't structured for me, if you like. I didn't have the mum and dad having to drive me 2 or 3 hours to training every night and 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock or whatever going to an academy. I was quite lucky in that respect. I think anyway. Obviously, I probably missed out on a lot of technical coaching and things like that. But at the same time, would I trade that in for the life I had? Probably not.
Okay. And what was your first Sunday league team that you played for?
So down in Kent, it would have been a team called Rotherham '84, and then up here, well, up here, not here anymore. Cambridge way would have been St Ives Rangers, and then moved on to Needingworth, and finally played for St Ives Town. Was my first. It was semi-pro. They were at the time the first team. So
Okay, and at Sunday League, what was the best bit of advice that anyone gave to you?
I think it's always just the enjoyment of it. I mean, we were an okay team. We were in around in the mix for winning titles and things like that. We never really won a lot. We won a few cups here and there. All the lads just really enjoyed it. I think was the biggest takeaway from that. We were all really close friends at school. We all went to the same school. So we would be talking about the games relentlessly. Whatever happened on the Sunday, Monday morning, it was a debrief, if you like. So that was always good fun. So yeah, I would just say just the sheer enjoyment of it. I think because there was a lot of teams that took it a hell of a lot more seriously than we did. So I think we just fed off the fact that we were all just good mates who happened to play football together.
Okay. And then were you a championship winning Sunday League team? Like, was it like we'll just go and just enjoy and then probably go like for a couple of drinks afterwards? What was the dynamic?
Yeah, so it was because, like I say, there just wasn't that many teams really. It wasn't like it is down in Kent and the areas around London where it's almost like it gets hyped up to be big things, and there's big crowds that go, and there's lots of scouts and things like that. It just wasn't the case where I lived. So yeah, like you say, it was very much just enjoy it. And in terms, I think we won a few cups. We never won a league. There was teams sort of nearer Cambridge that took it a lot more seriously, and a lot of those lads got picked up. But the cups we did win were great, and the happiest, obviously, moments of my childhood were picking up trophies with my school friends.
And what's your fondest memory playing Sunday League in terms of maybe a goal that you scored in a game?
I think one of our first trophies, I scored a hat-trick in a final, so that would probably be the biggest one. I must have been 13, 14, and you walk around school feeling 10 foot tall, talking about it. And
okay, and does that enjoyment, and when you kind of think of that memory, is it kind of something that you sometimes go back to, or like, is it just something that's just part of your journey?
Yeah, I think I've always been quite a big reflector, if you like, and when I'm having low moments in football, as everybody does, because it's not all sunshine and rainbows and Premier League money and things like that. You think, why am I playing? What is it that I'm playing for? The enjoyment or whatever it is. And I think back to that 10, 11, 12-year-old kid who just absolutely loved kicking the ball around, and the game was everything to him. And obviously he's still in there. He's just weighed down by a lot of expectation and things like that as well. So yeah, it's nice to look back and think back upon those memories, and as to why I still play and why I enjoy it so much.
Okay, cool. And we have a comment here from Mark. Charlton legend. Oh, that's huge. That's huge, Connor. Charlton legends right there. but
there's a club I love playing for. So lucky to have played for such a big club. Been lucky throughout my career, to be honest, that I've managed to play for clubs that have had a lot of success. And I wish Charlton all the best, and I hope they get back to where they belong.
Yeah. So that move from Sunday League to semi-pro at St Ives Town, how did that come about?
So I actually had I probably had 12 months out of the game. I had a knee injury, which, like I say, I wasn't in the academy at the time. So we went to the hospital, and they diagnosed me with a grade 1 medial strain, which was about as far from the actual truth as possible. So I just basically didn't play for a year. I couldn't get this knee right. So I ended up working. I was working in a pub on a Saturday. So I couldn't play anyway, Saturday, Sunday. And then I just started to sort of get myself back fit, get strong in the gym and things like that when I was sort of 16, that sort of age where you want to get big and strong and get some biceps for the ladies and things like that. So, and I realised that the knee wasn't so bad and that I could play on it. And then I started playing for the under-18s team at St Ives Town. And it was a similar sort of setup, to be honest. It was just real enjoyment. The team was relatively new; it hadn't been around for long, and it was just basically lads from my school in my year, and obviously the couple of years above, because I was 16. Some of them were 18 or whatever. So just started, like I say, I go back to it a lot, but it's just that enjoyment. I just really enjoyed playing with those lads under good management, and it was just good crack, just a good laugh. We were relatively successful, got far in some sort of county competitions, but similar to my Sunday League team, wasn't we weren't setting the world alight, but I scored a lot of goals that year, and then obviously the reserve team and the first team were in the same building, if you like. So they basically said, like, we'd like you to come, and we've sort of heard about you doing well for the 18s, so come and train with us, come and play with us, and then just kicked on from there, really.
Wow. And you spoke about having a year out because of a knee injury, and how did that affect you? And again, you kind of alluded that whatever the diagnosis was, it wasn't really the issue. I mean, how was that for you mentally, just kind of knowing that you couldn't play football for a year?
I sort of got to that age where you feel like you've missed the boat with football anyway, because you've not been in an academy. You're sort of 14, 15. I had a few failed trials and things like that, and nothing ever came of it. So yeah, in my head, that ship had sailed, if you like, the professional football route. So it was very much just head down, studying GCSEs, A levels, and then see where that was going to take me, really. Obviously, I was hopeful that I'd get back playing in some capacity at some point, but I think it was an important time in my life to realise how much I missed it. I think because as soon as it wasn't so much that I missed it when I wasn't playing, because I would still be around football and things like that, but the definitely having the year out and then going back to playing made me realise, obviously, what I'd missed, if you like, for the past 12 months.
And the move to Newport County, how did that come about? And again, like, we're like talking, like a few thousands. So, so again, there's a kind of different emphasis now. And literally, how did you again cope with that type of pressure? I would love to kind of have, that conversation between you and your family about that move. And just I'd say just the whole anticipation about that transfer.
Yeah, so like I said, I was 16. I started probably sitting on the bench for the first team, was coming on, making an impact at St Ives Town, and then I must have spent another season. What have been 18, 19, something like that. And I played the whole season, basically, 50 odd games. I was a bit more of a man, if you like, by that point, 17, 18. I'd sort of grown into myself and just scored every game, basically. I think I scored 52 in 50. And there was some rumours, obviously, like clubs relatively local had heard about me, Cambridge and Peterborough and things like that. And my agent, who he's still my agent now, he'd come to watch a game. It was Newport Pagnell away, I think. And I played all right and scored. And he said, like, I see something in you. Like, will you put your trust in me, basically, that we'll look after you? And obviously at this point I'm thinking, I'd been to uni. I'd sort of dropped out of uni after a year because I wasn't enjoying my course. I was just redoing some GCSEs because I needed to bump the grades up. I needed a B in GCSE maths, I think, because I was going to go in the Air Force with my brothers in the Air Force. So it was very much just like, yeah, we'll just see what happens. So signed up with him, and he was pretty good friends with Justin Edinburgh, who was the Newport County manager at the time. And he basically rang him up and just said, listen, I've got this kid, it's going to cost you $5,000 or whatever to get him out. I don't think you'd ever seen me play or anything like that. You might have seen a few clips, but when you're playing five leagues below the conference, there wasn't much filming going on. So he very much just went off my agent's word that I might have something. So yeah, it was a roller coaster. I just remember sitting by the phone for hours on end over 3 or 4 days. I actually dropped my phone down the toilet. Would you believe? That's how much I had it with me. And I had to use I was living with a guy who owned a house, a few years older than me, and a lot of the deal actually got constructed on his phone because my phone had died. Yeah, I was so nervous that I'd messed it up because I'd lost access to my phone. But it was very much just like, I think I signed about 18 months there, so it was just like, well, I can always come back to what I'm doing now. So it wasn't like I was doing anything special and whatever. I was just sort of getting my ducks in a row, if you like, ready to make the next step in my career. So yeah, it was just let's go and enjoy it. And I still remember it now. There's a Hilton hotel just outside Newport, just as you get over the bridge. And I'd signed, and they'd given me a shirt to take home or whatever. And obviously, when you're playing non-league, you just have the number. So if you were on the bench, you'd have a 12 or a 13 or whatever. Well, not 13, but and I remember I got Washington 25 on the back of this shirt, and it was just the most incredible. I think I might have the photo somewhere. I took the photo and sent it to all my family and things like that. I was thinking of Arsenal players who had the 25 shirt, with not many of them, but Adebayor had it, I think, at the time. So yeah, it was just so surreal to be a professional footballer, if you like. I think we were in the conference at the time, so it was a really big step up.
And can you remember your first training session? And was it the case of trying to prove to the senior pros or the other pros there before that you like belonged there? And also as well, what was your initiation song, if you did one?
I was absolutely horrific. It's not so much I remember one thing in particular, but it was just like vivid memories of giving the ball away and thinking, oh my god, this level is 100 times too good for me. Because I wasn't technically brilliant at non-league level, if you like. There was players that were technically better than me, better first touches, better passers, better shooters or whatever, but I just had something very raw that I could just beat a man. I could score, like very good at timing runs off the shoulder and things like that. And a lot of my attributes don't translate into small possession games or passing drills and things like that. So Justin Edinburgh must have been thinking, oh my god, this agent has had my pants down. But yeah, it was tough. Like mentally, it was tough because you put all your eggs in this basket, if you like, that you're going to be a professional footballer, and I was miles away from it. And I think it's funny because you look at my career and it's just sort of gone like that. But it didn't feel like that at the time. I don't think I played a minute for a good few months when I was there. In that first season, I only made maybe 6 appearances, I think, from November to the end of the season, and we got promoted via Wembley. But I was in the stand. I wasn't in the squad for Wembley. I was in the squad for the first leg of the semi-final, but not the second leg. But yeah, it was tough, and obviously it looks, when you look back, it's rose-tinted glasses and things like that. But yeah, it was a tough time. I found it really difficult because the atmosphere and the whole vibe of being a professional footballer was just very different to what I'd imagined it. It's a brutal place, especially at those lower levels.
And your initiation song?
I've done it every single time, I think. Bon Jovi, Living on a Prayer.
Oh, classic.
Yeah, probably a very nervous, shaky one.
So from Newport County to Peterborough, how did that transfer happen?
So, like I say, I spent the first, basically, I signed in like a November, which is obviously a bit of a weird one anyways, because I'd never had a pre-season. So I went back to Newport with a year left on my contract. We've gone up to League Two. I remember having a conversation. I don't know if we spoke about it the first time we spoke, but I remember it so vividly. It's just sitting in the front room with my mum and my stepdad, and I just said, like, I'm just going to give it everything for 12 months. And if it works, it works. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. So I went back and just ran myself into the ground, ate like a monk for the whole pre-season, tried to get in the best shape possible. Like I remember there was a couple of runs we done around it. Justin Inner was brutal with his pre-season runs. I remember actually I physically vomited as I was running and just kept running, just finished the lap off. It was just so alien to anything I'd experienced before. I remember the first couple of days training, I just sort of caught fire, if you like. I think the attitude of, right, I'm just giving it a go and getting the pre-season under my belt and feeling maybe a little bit more comfortable at that level, just really helped me. And I remember so many of the lads said to me, "It was like I was a different person. I didn't even realise I could actually play football before." So, and then I don't know if I started the first game of the season. I think I did, yeah. And yeah, so I hadn't played at all in the conference, and sort of took League Two by storm. Really, I was involved in everything. I was getting goals, assists, and then by the time the January had come around, I think I'd scored maybe 8 and maybe 6 or 7 assists. I was playing sort of in between up front and off the left hand side. And Peterborough were looking for a player that in those sort of positions, and I don't know how far up their list of I was, if you like, but that's the beauty of football. You just got to be in the right place at the right time and be available. And yeah, by the time the January had finished, I was a League One player.
Oh, wow. Do you think you could have suffered from the it's that kind of syndrome where, especially at Newport, it's that, I forgot the name, but yeah, that's it. Imposter syndrome. It's like, oh crap, I don't belong here. And then what you said to your mum and your stepdad is like, look, I'm gonna literally give this 12 months of hard work. In that first year, do you think you did yourself justice, or no, or again, was it just that imposter syndrome? You think, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm here. People are gonna find me out. People think that I'm a fraud.
I think I've had that up until probably the last few years. I've had that every time I've moved, to be honest. Because, like I say, my career just kept jumping at such crazy intervals. It was coming around, and every 2 years I was jumping a league, or like I say with Newport, it was within a year I jumped up 3 levels, gone from conference to League One. So yeah, I think it was a little bit of both. I think I found it very difficult to sort of impose myself, being 18. And I'd never been in an academy, so like I say, the environment was very different. It was a brutal environment. Like, obviously, there's not loads of money down there. People are fighting for their careers every day in training. Whether you're in the team or out of the team is the difference between getting a contract next year, which is the difference between mortgage payments and things like that. It's a tough place to be. It really is. So yeah, I'd say it was a little bit of both, to be honest. But yeah, that imposter syndrome it's not the sort of thing that just goes away after 18, 19. I think most players would probably will have had it at least once or twice in their career, I'd imagine.
And your time at Peterborough, I mean, again, that must have been a great feeling, being like part of Posh's club and literally how like the team was at that time.
Yeah, it was great because they had such a great reputation for bringing players like myself in, sort of polishing them up, if you like, and shipping them off to the next team, which I think is a great business model, and it's also conducive to good football, obviously, because you need your attacking players to be scoring goals, to get them recognised, to get them moves, which is great for the fans, and I think they've had great success. I think the Championship's just been a level too far for them in terms of infrastructure. Well, obviously I'm probably speaking out of turn there because it's been a long time since I was there, but in terms of investment in the squad and things like that, I think they've always been great. And the scouting and Barry Fry and Dara, the owner, they've done brilliant over the few years. So yeah, it was a great honour for me, and obviously that was relatively local to home as well. I could live at home and drive in, so which was a really good period in my life. I learned from a lot of good players there. I played up front with, I think it was Britt Assombalonga. He was on course for the League One Golden Boot at the time, so it was great to be around players of that caliber.
Yeah, and being in front of a crowd like Peterborough, again, like I can imagine they're very passionate, great when he's scoring goals, not so great when, like, you know, you're kind of going through a dry spell. It, what was your relationship with the like crowd and supporters home and away?
Mostly good, I would hope, but I'm sure some of them, like it's so opinion based, isn't it? Football, probably 50-50. Some would say I was good, some would say I was terrible, and things like that. So it is what it is. But yeah, I've had some funny moments. I remember, I think it was a game against Doncaster. I think we ended up winning the game 5-1, and I did score, but I'd missed like a hat full of chances, and the fans were really getting on my back and sort of moaning and groaning, and you can obviously hear everything. You're so attuned to it when things aren't quite going your way. And I remember when the goal went in, I didn't even celebrate really. I just walked off with my arms aloft, like finally, because it's one of those things, isn't it? It's not that I'm not trying. It's just that it's not coming off, which I think.
Yeah.
As obviously football fans do find it frustrating because it's their team and whatever, but like we said earlier, I'm a human being at the end of the day. That's just trying to do the best for the club, myself, my family, and things like that. So yeah, there's definitely been some funny interactions and things with crowds over the years.
And then you moved, and then you made that trip into London, Loftus Road, QPR. I mean, how was that experience?
Yeah, in terms of obviously getting the move and go signing for a club like that under the tutelage of Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank, and obviously Les Ferdinand was the director of football and things like that, was a massive honour. And to play for QPR was a huge privilege and an honour in my career. And I think I was there probably 2.5 years, nearly 100 games. So, but I just never really got going, to be honest. The team was in a little bit of a transition. There was a lot of players on sort of Premier League wages that they were trying to shift off the wage bill, and there was a lot of things going on behind the scenes that obviously don't really get spoken about. So it was tough for a 23-year-old who had only played at League One level to be replacing, if you like, Charlie Austin, who was one of QPR's best ever goal scorers, but obviously a very different type of striker to myself. I played in positions that I'd not played in, formations that I'd not played in. I'd been very successful in partnerships up front. It's only been probably the last 3 or 4 seasons, especially since I started playing international football, that I feel comfortable playing up front on my own. Obviously, I'm 5'9", so it's not lumping it up to a big striker is not going to work. And yeah, I just never really got going. It's a really tough period mentally, because obviously the expectation was huge. I'd signed for a big amount of money, which obviously I had no control over.
Yeah,
but yeah, the crowd, for the most part, the crowd were great with me. Obviously, there was a hell of a lot of frustration on their part as well, which I understood. But yeah, there was a lot of things I could have done better, but there was also a lot of things that could have happened better. I could have had one that hit me on the knee and went in those first 5 games, and the difference that might have made to the rest of my career could have been astronomical, if you like, but it just didn't happen. But I learned a lot of lessons there. I became a better footballer there. So for that, obviously, I'm very grateful.
And you know, when you kind of talking about like a big transfer fee, I mean, it's like a lot of people, you know, I would actually never know the feeling of having anything like that. You know, I get giddy just like buying a Snickers bar, never mind anything else. So, you know, how like was your friendship circle, and you know, when that type of money was kind of being bandied about in the newspaper and whatnot. I mean, was it something that he was really paying attention to? And again, you know, how like was your confidence when like, you know, certain numbers had been floated in the paper, some true, some not true, some, you know, what was your kind of whole emotional psyche towards it?
So obviously there was a hell of a lot of banter between me and my mates, because like I say, I've still got a friendship group that I went to school with that are outside of football. So yeah, it was a lot of I don't even know the final transfer fee, to be honest. I wouldn't even be able to tell you exactly what it was. So in terms of being affected by it, I wouldn't say I was. It was more just obviously the fans' expectations were higher. If you signed a player for £250,000, the expectation is not as high as if it's sort of 2 or 3 million. So in terms of the effect it had on me, it was very, very minimal, to be honest. Obviously, it was a privilege to have moved for that much, if you like, because obviously they rated me that highly. But things that I was more interested in was the amount of goals I'd scored that season that had got me the move, if you like. I think I'd scored sort of 13 in 14 games or whatever, and got the move off the back of that. So yeah, that was more sort of where I was at. The transfer fee just didn't really, other than obviously my mates giving me banter about it, it didn't really come into play much, to be honest.
Okay. And being under the guidance of Jimmy, I mean, did he take like the sessions? Was he involved? And let you knowing, of course, he's a legend at Chelsea. Was it like, oh my gosh, like I'm actually with a Chelsea legend, or did you just look at him as the gaffer?
Yeah, he's very much the gaffer. Obviously, I'd spent years watching him and Johnson. It was up top at the time. For Chelsea, they were a fantastic partnership. We butted heads a lot because I was sort of young, 23. I was hungry just to sort of continue on the run that I had been on. I assumed that I would come in and the team would be very much operating around how I wanted to play and things like that. But there was a lot of things I had to learn, especially off the ball stuff, which is probably what I'm known for now, to be honest. As well as being good going forward, my sort of diligence in being able to start a press off, sustain a press, knowing when not to. I learned all of that at QPR. So as much as it was painful to go through, if you like, it had a really big effect on me going forward. So yeah, like I say, I'm really grateful for that. But yeah, at the time it was tough because all I wanted to do was stay on the last man, run off of him and score. That's what I'd been doing at Peterborough. So.
And then you kind of make that move to West Yorkshire, Sheffield United. Very, very, very cold. I'm from Leeds, so literally I know the difference between south and north. It's very cold. What was like that transition like for you? And actually how things went at QPR? Did you think that this is a perfect opportunity to kind of reset your career and kind of literally go again?
Yeah, that's exactly how I saw it, to be honest. We were a young family at the time. My son would have only been sort of 3 or 4 months old. So we all moved together. We just bought a house sort of just outside West London. So that whole transition, maybe I don't give that enough credit for maybe the impact it probably had. But I had a great year at Sheffield United. It was it's probably a lot more enjoyable than it sounds on paper because I probably played about 6 games worth of minutes. I think it was a lot of like coming on at the 88th minute up until sort of January, where we went and signed another couple of strikers because we were going for promotion, and then I didn't see a squad from then until the end of the season. Basically, I played more 23s games than I played first team games. But the training group was brilliant. We had such a great group of lads, and there was no surprise that team went on. Obviously got promoted and then went on to do so well in the Prem for 2 seasons or whatever. So it was great to be a part of that dressing room, that club, to see what it takes at that top level. I think the top end of the Championship, and then obviously the Premier League as well. So yeah, I learned a lot. I spent a lot of time with my young family, which was important at the time when I wasn't in the squads and things like that, which I'm grateful for. Obviously, I'd rather have been playing football, but I think you got to take those wins when you can get them, really.
You've I think like the key word that I've heard from you throughout our conversation is family, like how important your family is. And not a lot of people would like put their family almost as probably even more important than football. I mean, how important is your family dynamic to you even right now?
Yeah, massive. It is the most important thing in my life, without a shadow of a doubt. If I had to quit football to do whatever with my family, it wouldn't even be a hesitation for me. I've got my wife, my 4-year-old son, and then a little one on the way in January. So yeah, we're a really good unit. We've all just moved around together. My wife's been absolutely brilliant through the last sort of 8-10 years of my career. a real, obviously, constant, and I think she understands the game, understands everything around it as well. And having my little man has been a great release, I think, as well, because you come home, or he comes to the games now. He doesn't care. Did you score? No. The next thing he wants to talk about is Pokemon or something like that. So, whereas obviously when I was younger, it was very much like football was just absolutely everything, and you'd finish the game at 5 o'clock on the Saturday, and you were just consumed by thoughts of football, good or bad, until the next time you kicked off at 7 on a Tuesday or 3 on a Saturday. So, yeah, it's been I've probably had the most enjoyment and probably played a lot of my best football since I've had my family, to be honest, because it's the maybe the pressure I put on myself isn't as high as previously.
And then the move to Charlton, again, how did that come about? And again, like you know, you was a really big pillar in the kind of Charlton community, and like, how did you feel about putting on that like red jersey?
Yeah, so we'd been up in Edinburgh at Hearts. I'd signed 2 years, but we'd done one season. We had a terrible season. I had my first ever big injury, snapped my hamstring, and I was out for like just over 4 months.
Oh, wow.
And so that was tough. Obviously, I think Max was maybe a year, 18 months. So he didn't understand that obviously I couldn't move. So I spent a lot of time getting attacked by a 1-year-old. But that was tough because I'd taken the number 9 shirt, made all these claims that I wanted to score all these goals and things like that. And it hadn't really happened for us in the first couple of weeks of the season. And then I went on international, came back, snapped my hamstring, was out until after Christmas. And I'd never really come back from an injury. So from a physical point of view, it took me like another probably 3 or 4 weeks after coming back fit, if you like, to get going. And then I scored maybe 3 and 4 towards the end of the season, and then the COVID hits, and the league gets shut down, and points per game we get relegated. So yeah, it was a tough time. And then there was loads of things about obviously everyone was getting their wages deferred and things like this, but that wasn't the case at Hearts. So we basically got cut 50%, and that was it. We had no say in it, which was good fun. So sort of left there on a sour note, if you like, with that. Not with the club or the fans or anything like that, but just the whole situation. Playing in the Scottish Championship, I think, with a player that's got my skill set, it just wouldn't have suited me. So they obviously wanted to get lads off the wage bill, and I sort of volunteered and said, listen, it's probably not going to suit me when teams are playing inside their own box. So lucky enough, Charlton were interested, and yeah, like you say, it's another huge club. I've been lucky to play for clubs with great fan bases, but the first couple of months were tough because it was still COVID, so there was no fans and things like that. You're in the Valleys, a massive stadium, and it's so echoey, and there's nobody in it, which was obviously a bit of a strange phenomenon, if you like. But yeah, I really enjoyed playing for Charlton. I really did. It was obviously a great area to live. Got some great memories there. Met some really good people that obviously I still speak to now. The club's in a lot better hands than it was than when I first signed, and it looks like it's to be trending in the right direction and things like that. And the training grounds had improvements and things. So hopefully the club's on the way back up.
So throughout that COVID period, when there's no fans and you can literally hear everyone speak, I mean, is there actual banter between opposition players? Like, you know, are you kind of verbally trying to get into his ear and vice versa? I mean, does that happen in well, I know it's a stupid question because it probably does, but how did that affect you, and was you someone to kind of give it back to a defender?
I chat a lot of rubbish during the game, to be honest. Not so much like banter or anything, just general chit chat, really. Some players don't want anything to do with it, and some obviously give it a bit back and whatever. So yeah, it's good fun. Obviously, football's as stressful as it is, and as much as you want to win, there's still that element of, like I say, a 10-year-old just enjoying the game, really. If I do something good, or if the defender hits a nice long range pass, or whatever, or if he sells me a Cruyff turn, which happens a lot with the way I press. I always just say nice turn, or if the striker scored a nice goal, obviously I'll say the same sort of thing when we go back to the kickoff, like good finish or whatever. Because I think we all just appreciate good football, don't we? I think that's like I say, as much as you want to win, it's nice to see. But the COVID stuff was tough because it was more you could hear the manager, and at the time we had Lee Bowyer, who was very vocal. There was no hiding place from it. You know, when you're at the Valley and there's however many people there and they're screaming, the managers, you can hear him, but you've got the excuse of saying, I can't hear you because there's so many people here. Whereas at COVID, it was like, Conor! There's just no hiding place for it. So, it just wasn't the same. I know everybody said it, and there was a big thing about it. The foot was nothing without fans, but a lot of the lads, we genuinely feel like that. It's not the same game without having the people in the stadiums.
I want to go back to your time at Hearts, where you said that it sounds painful because, funny enough, I'm literally going through the same injury. Not as bad as yours, but when you snapped your hamstring and you was out for 4 months. I mean, has that been like the worst injury that you've ever had?
Yeah, in terms of being available to play and things like that, I've always been very high on the percentage of being available to train and things like that. I've never really had more than like 2 weeks off through anything like this, very small muscle strains and things like that. A couple of hamstrings in the last few years, but even those have been very minor. So yeah, like it was. I'd never had any muscle strains up until that point, I don't think, and I ripped it off the bone. So that to be.
Oh my gosh! How?
Yeah.
What?
Ball. It was a bit of a freak one. It wasn't even sprinting. There was like a ball over my shoulder, and I tried to jump and control it at the same time. And as I extended my leg, just bang went.
Oh my gosh!
But it was on the back of we'd played Germany for Northern Ireland, and I'd done silly amount of running in that game, and then flew back and then sat on the bench for like 80 minutes or whatever, and came on for 10 minutes, and just one of those perfect storm things, really. But within sort of 3 or 4 days, I had been operated on and was on the way back. So clubs are great for that, to be honest. You haven't really got time to be thinking about too much other than just the first step of the rehab, second step or whatever, and when am I going to be back? And so yeah, it was tough. It was definitely a tough time because obviously I'd never been injured before, so I didn't really know what to expect. Or obviously with being a sprinter type player, if you like, I didn't know if that was going to be the end of me, if you like, because I know it was a long time ago now. But you look at somebody like Michael Owen, players that get these big ruptures can't always come back. But luckily the surgery was brilliant, and that side's stronger than it's ever been. So.
Oh, amazing. And from like Charlton, you're now at Rotherham. How did that move come about? And was it a hard decision for you to actually leave Charlton?
Yeah, it wasn't obviously my decision. They didn't want to renew my contract, and there's been a lot of rumor and hearsay about as to why that was. But it was disappointing because there'd been sort of contract talks going on for maybe 6 to 12 months that just never materialised, and then I didn't end up getting a contract. So, but the Rotherham was such an easy decision. The manager at the time, Paul Warne, was somebody that I'd always admired. I'd always wanted to play for, just from seeing his interviews and hearing about him from other people. It was probably the easiest decision of my career, to be honest, to sign for Rotherham. It's always been a club that I looked at, and the way the style of play and things like that, and what the fans like, what the fans expect, is perfect for me. It fits me, suits me down to the ground. So, it was a really easy decision.
And we cannot forget again your kind of international career. And again, that's amazing. I mean, 2016 was it like your first first senior call up?
Yeah, just in time for the Euros, funnily enough. football's so much about that, because like the technical levels of people are so, they're so close that the top boys are obviously very top, but throughout the leagues I've seen there's not much in it. But right place, right time, hit striking while it's hot, sort of thing is so important for football. And lucky enough, I was sort of right place, right time, scoring goals. Moved to QPR, got a call up, did well in a couple of games, scored in my second game, and that was it. I was on the plane to the Euro. So yeah, it was a brilliant experience, and I've loved every single cap, every minute of I've played for international has been a real blessing.
And that kind of you could have mentioned that you could have played against Germany. Like, how was that feeling like? And when you're playing against Germany for Northern Ireland, did you feel that you belonged on that pitch? You must have done. You must have done.
Yeah, you do. Obviously, you understand the quality that these players have got, and there's certain moments in games where they showcase that. But also at the same time, you realise the level was not. You think when you watch these players on TV that you'd get beat 7 or 8-0, but that's just not how football works. That like they are more consistent. They are better in when they're at their best. They are better, obviously, but it's once you're sharing a pitch with them, you sort of realise, well, I can do this. I can play at this level. We've had some really positive results against big nations. We were really unlucky not to beat Italy in the previous campaign, and I think we were really unlucky. We played Germany about 6 times in 3 or 4 years, where they were at the peak of their powers, if you like. I think there was only one game where they've seriously outclassed us. But yeah, it's great. It's great memories for me, because I see Haaland now and what he's doing, and I'm assuming my son, when he grows up, will be sort of singing his praises, and I'll be able to say to him, I shared a pitch with him. He scored a hat-trick against us, but I shared a pitch with him. So.
Amazing. And I remember, and I can correct me if I'm wrong, Carl Lafferty was literally scoring goals for like fun for Northern Ireland, and like he was literally one of the top goal scorers at a time in like one of the qualifiers, right? I can't remember what year it was.
That tournament, yeah. It was going into that tournament, yeah. He was brilliant. He's a great character. He's some player as well. I don't think he gets enough credit for the career he's had, to be honest. But yeah, he was scoring goals all the time at the international level. I played up front with him a few times. In the Euros, I think he started the first game, I started the second game, because he'd come in off the back of having not really played a lot of football. Every time he was on international, he was obviously playing 90 minutes scoring, but he wasn't. I think he was at Norwich at the time, and he wasn't playing. So, in terms of being able to sustain that for 4 or 5 group games or whatever, it was always going to be tough. So, I think he actually suffered a little bit of an injury before the first game as well. So, it was great to be a part of, and obviously getting to play with the players I've played with as well, Johnny Evans, Stephen Davis, Aaron Hughes, has been great for my career as well, learning from these people.
Love that. And what would you say to any budding footballer that's like looking to kind of get into the professional game now with all of your experience?
I think there's no right or wrong way to get into the game, if you like. I think it's happening more and more now. I think I was very late coming into it, 19, 20, and I'd never been in that academy. So I think if you want to do it, there's just like I say, there's no right or wrong way. And I think it's just trying to. It's such an easy thing to say, but staying true to yourself with that authenticity and knowing your own strengths. I think that was a big part of why my career sort of stalled and stuttered at QPR. Was I spent a lot of time trying to be the player that Jimmy Ford Hasselbank wanted me to be, and had come away from the player that actually got me to that level in the first place. Became too much of a people pleaser, wanting to do the right things, and obviously. Obviously you want to there has to be an element of listening to your coach and whatever, but at the same time, like I say, you've got to stay true to yourself and what you believe in.
And can you remember your first sleepless night because of football as a professional?
Probably the first one I signed at Newport. I would imagine I don't think I got any sleep in the hotel that night. replying to messages, thinking about what training was going to be like you say, suffering with that imposter syndrome because I just jumped up 5 levels or whatever. What are the lads going to think of me? I think it's just, I know we spoke about it earlier, that footballers are just human beings. So we're not any more or less than any other person, if you like. So we go through the exact same emotions, if not magnified, probably because of the high stress, high pressure nature of what we actually do. I think if people went into work every day knowing that their career was on the line and they genuinely felt that every single time they went into work, they might understand a little bit more the sort of the mental struggles that footballers go through. It's easy enough to say, well, you get paid for it, but let's be honest, we're not all on Premier League money. So there's lads in League One and League Two that are earning less than the average person and having to go through all of that. So yeah, I think we as lads we always laugh about it. When you're getting abused from the crowd, you think turning up to a building site one day and just absolutely going at somebody for that wall's off, or you've not cemented that very well. That's what it's like. That's what it's like. Everything's getting so everything's so heavily criticised, and everyone's got an opinion on it, and you're getting tweeted, and it's worse now, obviously, because of social media and things like that. But yeah, it's funny.
And but it's a because again, I can't even imagine going into work and someone I don't know shouting my name. I either shout my praises or shout an abuse. Like I don't know how I would cope either way. And and again, people kind of talk about mental toughness, mental health, for elite, athletes. Is it kind of something that's kind of now talked about within your dressing room, and if there's any kind of problems in or outside of football, do you feel comfortable talking to someone at your club about it?
I think I'm quite lucky that I've got a good network of people inside and outside of football that I can talk to. So my agent being one, obviously my family being another, and various other people that I've spoken to throughout the years. But I think obviously the conversations are happening more, but I think most people's overriding opinion or feeling about it is that that's what you get paid for. There is certainly an element of that, but at the same time, you just wish that that somebody obviously could be in your shoes for a day or two, because it's just the pressure of it is just enormous, and I don't think anybody quite understands that, because obviously even when you're training, the pressure of a match day is tough, but the pressure of training day in day out is massive, because these people are your teammates, they're your friends, but also a lot of the time you're in direct competition with them for a spot in the team. Like it's an incredible phenomenon, really, and it's just not really replicated in anything other than obviously elite sport.
And again, I'm not wishing you any kind of like a retirement party, but is it kind of something that you're thinking about, and your kind of next phase in life now? Is it kind of, have you got plans in place? Have you spoken to, is it a conversation that you're having?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I've always been a bit of an overthinker, to be honest. So I'm always thinking 5, 10, 15, 20 years ahead anyway, naturally. I'm 4 years into a sports science degree. I've got about 18 months left of that. I've got plans to sort of get my coaching badges, and then maybe try and get another qualification or two before I retire. I wouldn't like to put a number on it, but I don't see myself retiring in the next 4 or 5 years. Obviously, touch wood, injuries and things like that. Yeah, I would like to think that the shape I keep myself in and things like that, I'd be physically able to play for the next 4, 5, 6 years. I don't see any reason why not. So it's coming round, obviously. I'm in that half of my career, if you like. And I'd like to think I'm getting sort of plans in place. Do I know exactly what I want to do? No, but I think it's very much just try and get as many qualifications as possible, and hopefully something falls into my lap off the back of one of those, really.
Amazing. Connor, honestly, thank you so much for like spending this hour with me, and I just kind of wish you like the best. Wishing you a few more goals, a few more hat tricks.
Yeah,
And honestly, thank you like so much for like spending this time with me.
my pleasure. Always a pleasure to chat with you, my friend.
Yeah, great stuff. So, guys, that is Conor Washington. Now plays for Rotherham United. Thank you so much for like Conor coming on. Our kind of next segment will be about Masters football. So, actually, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go through the like results from yesterday's game, and then I've got Owen from Herne Bay and Nana from Catford coming on. So again, thank you so much to like Conor
Thanks for
Washington
joining us.
um, coming actually onto the feed. So let's look at his smug face. Owen. All right. So yeah, let's start with division. Is that division one? Division one. So these are the results from yesterday. Kawuya won in the answer. So yeah, so the CC, that's the kind of cup competitions. That's the London Vets Cup, sponsored by the amateur football platform. Kawuya won, Independent 2, Long Lane home win. Metro Gas in the league 2, Leone Stars 2 in the league. New Pack 3, Johnson and Phillips 5, and in the cup, Charcoal 5, Summer Athletic 0. Oh, hold on. Hold on right here. Am I having a bit of a mare? Let me see what I have. Hold on. Where is the table? Where is the table? Okay, there you go. So let me go and show you the table of Division 1. Leone Stars first, Long Lane second, Independent third, South London Masters United fourth, Charcoal fifth, New Pack sixth, Glebe seventh, Johnson and Phillip eighth, Sporting Santos ninth, Metro Gas 10th. So let's go to Division 2. Let me make sure I have the correct scores. Okay. Again, in the London Vets Cup, Catford won, Herne Bay 5, Kawuya won, Independent 2, Hollington in the league 11, Norwood Lakers zip. And in the league, again, Parkwood 1, Warren A 2. And the league shows Wallenham first, Seagas second, Hollington third, Kawuya fourth, Catford fifth, Bow Street sixth, Parkwood seventh, London South Ledgers eighth, Cray Wanderers ninth, Norwood Lakers 10th. So these are the up and coming fixtures in Division 2. So Seagas have Lehman. Is it Leyham Wanderers Vets? Bow Street Runners have got London South Legends in the league. Cray Wanderers have Parkwood Rangers in the league. Kawuya have Wallenham A in the league, and Norwood Lakers have Catford. And in Division 1, we have you would actually think I would actually have this ready. Glebe versus Kings Hill Vets, Metrogas versus Bromley Vets, Woodcombe Sports versus Charcoal, and all of those 3 games are in the cup. I'm not too sure what cup that is. Independent versus Johnson and Phillips in the league, and Sport in Santos versus Long Lane. So again, thank you to everyone that's participated in the London Vets Cup, sponsored by yours truly. I have Owen here ready and waiting. He's been waiting patiently since 8 o'clock. I think he's smiling. Yes, he is smiling. Let me. Owen, how you doing, sir?
Good evening to Brees. All good, thank you. Yeah.
Good stuff. I'm waiting for Nana, but let's just talk about yesterday's game. You're a lot taller than I thought. That I actually remember. You're a lot taller.
You're a lot taller. I had to go on tiptoes, giving you a cuddle.
Oh dear, Nana, how you doing, sir?
I'm tired.
Oh damn.
Oh my days.
Oh wow.
Oh, sorry about that. Sorry, that just clicked on. That did.
Oh wow. Okay. But Owen, an absolute rock for Herne Bay, and Nana, a huge influence at Catford. Wondrous. Thank you guys for coming on. So let's kind of start off, and let's start off with the guest or the away team. Owen, would love to get your analysis of the first half.
Of the first half, well, that was the most damaging half, wasn't it? I think we scored within 2 or 3 minutes of the game starting. The pressure was pretty relentless throughout that first half. What was it? It was 4-0 at half time, wasn't it? So actually, we won the first half and drew the second, didn't we? So that was job done in that first half. Could have been more as well. I think Nana, off the top of my head, at least 2. There may have been 3 or 4 amazing saves from you in that first half as well, huh?
Nana?
Yeah, true. But it all comes to no avail. I think NB were just better on the day. They were the better team. They had a game plan, simple triangles, pressing high, and very effective. Very, very effective. I think they would go far in this competition. I mean, I can give a lot of excuses, in terms of a depleted side, so on and so forth. But credit where credit is due, and be a solid outfit. And if you don't, mash them on the day, you're going to be in for a hiding. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, I think what I saw, especially in the first half, anyway. Yeah, again, triangles, very, very, very direct. They know how to play football as well. Like, let's not kind of cover like things up. And their work rate, they work extremely hard, and they like make a bad ball into a good ball. And then the first half, again, like it was relentless. And for you, Owen, as a kind of centre back, probably going. Actually, I actually love to know, and like you don't have to give too much away, but we would love to know what the team talk was about before the game started.
Okay, so we came down prepared for it to be a physical battle. It didn't prove that way. There were obviously physical battles during the game individuals, but as an overall, you know, we were prepared for it to get, you know, really quite physical. That's not saying anything about Catford as a team, just more the fact that we're coming down into London. You know, whenever we've played in the past against London sides, all different age groups, that's typically a standard thing you should learn to expect, yeah? But we just wanted to stick to our usual game, which, you know, Nana just acknowledged, you know, that wasn't necessarily a strategy for the game, for that game. It's just how we play. You know, we played like that for a long, long time. We've brought new players into the squad this year who've elevated us again. We were missing a couple of our players yesterday. Our player from last year wasn't there. The centre mid, I think we were talking in the bar afterwards, yeah. Two other players jumped to mind as well, weren't there? So, you know, our squad has definitely strengthened this year. And, yeah, we wanted to come down, make sure that the journey down wasn't going to be worth a waste of our time. Stick to our game. Be prepared for it to be physical if it went that way, but don't lose our heads and get on with it. And that was it.
Yeah. I think Dennis frozen. I'm not too sure exactly what he's doing. But
he was frozen yesterday in the first half.
No, you know what? No, Owen. Like, I'm not having that. I'm not having that.
Yeah.
Oh dear. No, but I mean, I think second half. Nana, are you kind of back? Are you kind of back with us, Nana? No, we can't hear you. Second half, I would actually again love to kind of get your. Actually, what was said at, you know, at the team talk second half? Was it kind of more of the same? Was it just to consolidate? Was it to kind of really go for the jugular? Would love to know, Owen.
Yeah, more the same. I don't think
I'm here.
we. Oh, it's just cut off. Yeah.
It's gone.
It was more the same, you know. It's maybe a failing of ours as a team, but I don't think we really know as a team and as individuals how to kind of stop trying to score goals, you know, and consolidate and, you know, try and keep it tight and all that. I think if we're playing a team who are giving us problems attacking wise, then we know we've got to really be on it defensively, but it doesn't really matter. We just keep on playing the way we know how to play. And that's just attacking. We don't ever try and stop tactically to score goals or try and keep it tight. So yeah, the halftime talk was, you know, recognizing it was a good half. Make sure we didn't take our foot off the gas, because we have been guilty of that in some games recently. I don't think we did, but you guys definitely stepped it up. You had a better second half than what you did first half, for sure.
And Nana, would love to kind of get your opinion about Catford's second half performance.
We sort of woke up a bit in the second half, but it was just a little too late. It was a better performance, you know, but overall, this is a shadow of the Catford side that I know. You know, Henbe seemed to have been playing week in, week out. Catford looked very cold, you know, from the start, first half, even second half, you know, when we started to get going a little bit, I think the damage was already done. I think this is the first game in a month that Catford have played. Or the second game in a month that Catford have played.
Yeah.
And probably the fourth or so all season. And you could tell, you know, in terms of the reaction to the ball, and they were there for the first one, and they were there as well for the second one. It's like 2 seconds ahead of Catford, you know, and like Owen said, they were working their socks off. You know, and hard work paid on the day. You know, I would love to, you know, get to play them again at some point. You know, maybe a friendly at some point. You know, with both fully full squads. You know, yesterday was a horror show for us, in my opinion, and it doesn't reflect Catford that I know. You know, I'd love to have a crack again at some point. You know, with both full squads. You know, raring to go and see how that goes.
I mean, you know, and I was kind of there, and Nana, like you made some outstanding saves in the second. It's funny. So you made some outstanding saves in the second half, but the ones you think Nana's got, they just seem to go in. But I mean, you know, I think it's a lot of averages. You know, if you're consistently blocking and you know and whatnot, you know, like you can't block everything. And
it was quick shots as well. Our strikers, they were taking quick shots, getting them off quickly, and just catching you, you know, unprepared for them, and you know
exactly that.
Yeah,
exactly
the striker got a hat trick. He lives for goals. He absolutely loves it.
Oh yeah,
you know,
you can tell.
He's just one of those. He can be a bit greedy at times, but he's a striker, hey, you know, and you don't mind that because he absolutely bangs them in.
If you're a striker and you ain't greedy, then you're not a proper striker.
Exactly. Yeah. You know, and it's funny because you know you would like think a striker who like's got a hat trick would be man of the match, but like for me, like looking at you know, like the whole game, is it Brownlee?
Brownlee, the number 8 center.
Oh my gosh, man! Never. I mean, I've never seen an absolute complete performance. In terms of just being not only aggressive in the tackle, covering so much ground, covering like his teammates, vocally on point. He's like got the passing ability, the first touch. And you know, again, it was the relentlessness. Like, I'm sure that he like could have gone on for another 90 minutes.
Oh yeah, he's super fit. He's a fireman, and he's into CrossFit.
Okay,
he keeps himself fit. You'll find him on Insta, plenty of photos of him with his top off because you know he loves that.
So we got beat by a bunch of firemen who go topless.
Yeah, topless firemen. Yeah.
Oh,
we're him and the other centre mid because we played 3 in the mid. The left-footed one, OB. We in our team we nominated both of them joint man of the match. But you're right. It does illustrate the striker, and that's not the first time that's happened to that striker. I've played in numerous games with him when he's scored at least 3. There's one game jumps to mind. He scored 6 goals and he still didn't get man of the match.
That's ridiculous.
No, that's ridiculous.
Listen, before you carry on, Tobias, to be brutally honest, yesterday, whichever opposition we played, our team would have made any midfield look world class. We were that poor. That's my opinion. And I know number 8 and striker, they were on fire because the midfield, they had so much space. They could literally do what they want. You know, they drop short, 1 touch, 2 touch. I don't remember somebody taking more than 3 touches for their opposition. You know, they drop short, touch the ball, move a few steps here to get it again, bam, 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 bam. Very, very simple. But they had so much space to do what they wanted to do. You know, so again, and because we played them before as well, i.e. behind the club, I know that they were good. You know, but I'd love to have another goal. I really would love to have another goal at some point. You know,
and Nana, you know, you don't have to talk too much about it, but do you think Catford are in a transitional period at this present moment in time?
Absolutely, we are still we are in the building stages. Like I said it last season, and we got some sort of momentum going. But again, we've lost like 6 first team players for various reasons. And people are slowly coming in, and it's never easy to get new people in and hit the ground running again. Um, we want the quality to come in, and quality is not easy to find as well. So we're definitely in a rebuilding transitional stage, and we just need to stabilize this ship. Get some consistency going, win some games, get the confidence back. Because even now, I would say individually, we have some of the best players in the whole league. Individually, but as a team, there's a lot we need to work on. There's a lot we need to work on. Everybody being there training, everybody putting 110% in the game days or match days. Keeping our heads up. Especially when we go down, goal 2. We've played teams. We've gone down two goals, and we've come back to win 3, 4, 5-2. But yesterday, that fighting spirit like that, I didn't see it. And it showed that we haven't played a lot of games and we haven't been together for so long. It showed there's so many things you can pick up about the Carrefour team, which I'm, I've always have praise for my team, and I always think for my team. But yesterday, I really wasn't happy at all, and we need to really put that behind us ASAP, and get back to the basics, and show what we're capable of. Simple as that.
So I had a few conversations with, of course, with Owen and Hernbay's gaffer and a few other players, and they've said, just don't talk us up. We like going, we like to go underneath the radar. No, that's not happening today. Sorry, I'm sorry, Owen. Hernbay are a serious team. Teams out there who are still in the London Vets competition. Hernbay, and again, we were even talking about it on the sideline. Hernbay have a conveyor belt of teams, not only Vets teams, but they've got an open age team. You have a semi-pro team, I believe, as well. So, Hernbay are not a flash in the pan type of team. They're very organized and they have their resources correctly done. Hernbay are going to be serious contenders for this year's London Vets Cup. Mark my words, they will literally give anyone a game. If you're kind of looking at West Fulham, Charcoal, I've got definitely 100%. I've got to put Hernbay in that category. Nana.
They're even better on 4G. So teams better watch out.
Honestly, yeah. They're a lot better than when we played them before, right? A lot better.
Oh, absolutely. There were similar patterns, especially the triangles.
Yeah.
And the movement. They really interchange a lot. And again, if you're not clued on, you'll get rolled over like really, really quickly.
Very quickly.
And they played a lot better than before as well. So I agree with you, Tom Breeze.
They like play with aggression and passion, where it's very direct, but they know how to play football. In the second half, their right fullback, made a 40-yard run, made a sliding tackle on our left back, and ran all the way back, and literally without even breaking a sweat. And Owen at centre back, he was on cruise control. Owen was in cruise control. Owen, how did you feel like the game went for you personally?
Well, we saw the size of your 2 strikers in the warm-up. And so okay, all right, fair enough. In for a big physical game, and the 23, because it looked like you first off started with both of them up top, but then the 4, he kind of dropped into midfield, didn't he? And it was just one up top, the 23. I can't remember his name. But, he gave a good physical battle. But I think in the end he became, I may have got this wrong, but I think he became a bit preoccupied with trying to display his strength as opposed to playing football. And so, yeah, in the end, and then I think he was getting really frustrated in the end, wasn't getting anywhere. And I could tell maybe his concentration had maybe gone off the game. So, yeah, it was a physical battle. But I think me and my partner at the back, well, all of the defence, our left back, I thought he had an amazing game yesterday. He was so solid, so dominant physically. The right back, we changed that twice, but our whole defence is great. Yeah, I was very pleased with it.
Cool. And one thing I'd want to say, and actually I kind of picked this up straight away. And we all talk about respecting the officials, from like kids league all the way to like masters as well. And there was an incident that happened, and Nana was very vocal during the game. And I know that you spoke to the referee afterwards. I'd love to know what you said to the referee afterwards, Nana.
He said a lot more than that.
He's frozen. Well, I mean, yeah, there was an incident. Nana,
we have tools. I'll tell you. I'm here.
Yes.
So I'm saying I'm one to always praise the referees when they do well, and I'm one to rip them a new one as well if they're out of order. It's that simple. We have tools that we can implement or enforce to manage a game. If you feel a player is contesting every decision or making your work miserable, pull him in, speak to the captain, caution him for dissent or whatnot, and explain what's happening. You don't shout at the player and use a sort of language which is not right. You never tell a player to shut up, for example. You don't do that. That's why you have your yellow cards and your red cards and whatnot. You understand? If you're given a decision which is clear to see that some of them were dodgy, it means something's going wrong. So if a player is infuriated by some of these decisions, they have every right to be. You need to check yourself and make sure you're doing the right thing. You can call the player and say, listen, I appreciate that some may not have gone exactly like you would have wanted, but you need to calm down. I'm doing my best here. Something of those sort. But never tell a player to shut up. I like you heard me, I spoke to him during the game, and afterwards, I spoke to him again, and he was very apologetic. He was very, very apologetic. He said as soon as he said it, he knew he was wrong. But in the span of the moment, he didn't admit that. But he was very apologetic after the game, and that is always good because you know that they've learned something, and he will never ever say that in a game again. You see what I'm saying? So, we all say respect the officials, but the officials also need to respect the players to earn that respect, and it goes both ways. Simple as that.
Yeah. So the next fixture for Herne Bay, who you playing, and what's your predicted score?
We got another big game next weekend. We've got the Kent Cup. So the Kent Cup and the London Cup are for us our biggest challenges this year. You know the backstory. Our league isn't very competitive. However, we are playing one of the better teams from our league, and they apparently told our manager today that they will be giving us the toughest game we've had all season. Okay, good, yeah. I predict we're playing on their pitch, not great. I predict a 3-0 win for Herne Bay.
Okay, cool. And I think Nana's got offline. So we have Norwood Lakers. I believe we've got them away from home. Norwood Lakers are bottom of. Should
be a winner.
Nothing is guaranteed. Nothing is guaranteed. I think everyone's looking for a reaction after after yesterday's game. And yeah, like you can't go into any game thinking that you've won, because you know I think that's disrespectful to the opposition. And you know, at this present moment in time, we have to regroup, and you know, we have to make sure that we do the right things in the right places. So yeah, we've got Norwood Lakers away, and yeah, we'll just see what happens, really. So but no, yeah, just to let you know, Owen, and to anyone else out there whose teams are still in the competition, we will be doing a live draw next week, Monday. We were going to do one tomorrow, but because of the weather, a lot of games got called off. So I believe a lot of the games will be happening next week. So we'll be having a live draw next week, Monday evening. I will actually let you know, and I'll let the audience know. So Owen, honestly, thank you so much for coming on. And again, great bunch of lads as well. For kind of they literally deserved every. Yeah, they literally deserved it yesterday. Literally worked hard, and they did all of the right things in the right places. So guys out there, let me just repeat myself. Herne Bay, our team. I'm not gonna say they're a kind of team to fear, but honestly, I'm literally looking at a semi-final place minimum. Semi-final place minimum. Do not let Owen's poker face fool you. I'm telling you, he's a rugged defender that will be in your ear. Trust me, Herne Bay are a serious team. You've been rumbled now, Owen.
Listen, I back us. I back us in any game. I'm not saying I back us to win it outright. I can't. I'm confident. I know we've got the squad. It's all about whether we can get them there on the day. That unfortunately was a bit of a challenge for us last year, but we still got to the quarters. We'd love to get sporting kits again, because you know, we feel we didn't really give a best show of ourselves last year, and that was a 1-0 game, scrappy goal as well, contentious. So we'd love to get them again to see if we can right that wrong. But yeah, definitely, I'd back us. You know, I'm confident because I know the lads. You know, I know the squad. It's got stronger this year.
Yeah, and again, just for some kind of research purposes, Herne Bay got to the quarterfinals of the London Cup last season and semi-finals of the Kent Cup.
Yeah, lost on penalties to Metro Gas, and they won it.
Yeah.
So it is quite eye-opening to see that they won the Kent Cup and they're bottom of division of the Premier Division, aren't they? Yeah.
There you go. So again, just to any teams out there, do not think because Herne Bay, especially away from home, we'll actually take him all the way down into deep south or wherever you are. You know, honestly, like they are a serious team full of winners, Owen, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And honestly, it was kind of great actually connecting, because again, like we've like spoken for how many years now? And
yeah, a long time. Yeah, it really was. Yeah, absolute pleasure to get to meet you. Shame about the joint circumstances. Clearly, I'm happy, but maybe.
Yeah. No, and honestly, fair play. And Owen, honestly, thank you like so much for your words of wisdom and also support as well. You know, supporting the channel, and of course, Nana as well. Big shout out to like you support the channel from the start. And again, thank you like so much for your feedback. Owen, I will let you go, and I'm sure I will speak to you soon.
All right. Good night. Thank you. Right.
So let me bring Millie into this. Millie from Hollington. Yeah, this is. So you know what? I've got to keep this moving, man. How you doing, sir?
I'm good, man. You?
I'm good. Well, you know, yeah, good. You know, of course, you like probably heard about the result. But you know, again, you know, we move. but let's kind of talk about the fortunes of Hollington. 11-0 against Norwood Lakers.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of very hard to, I'd literally love for you to assess the game.
All right. So going into the game, obviously, we know about their results and kind of obviously looking at league table, whatever. But like I said to Shugs, for us, it doesn't really matter on any of that stuff. Like, we're gonna approach every game exactly the same until the end of the season. So it's always the same thing. It's business on the day, and we're gonna take it serious every time we step on the pitch.
Confidence must be sky high, still unbeaten in like league competitions.
Yeah.
Double figures against an established team in this league as well.
Yeah.
Again, what's the whole feeling in the camp right now?
Obviously, we're content, we're happy. I don't think much has changed really. Like, we know what we got to do going forward to get to the next, the next step, and we're just gonna take every game, like I said, the same. It's the same thing every week. Every week. Look, I said to Shugsy the other day, I always forget the saying, but preparation is the key, innit? And the way that we prepare, so we've played our game on Saturday. The preparation starts from the final whistle. Then we have training during the week, and everyone gets ready for the following Saturday.
And how important is it to literally have a squad that literally singing from the same hymn sheet?
If you're trying to be successful, it has to be that way, innit? Like, the way everyone this season is so together, so focused. Every game, everyone wants to do better. So it's like, yeah, we won 11-0, but now that's in the past. We move on to the next game, and we want to do better than we did the last game. There's always things you can improve. So going forward, when we approach the next game, we might want to, I don't know, say defend better, whatever it may be.
And correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think you guys have entered into the London Vets Cup, right? I'm not too sure. I've not seen your name.
Only in the League Cup.
Only League Cup. And do you know the reason why you didn't enter the London Vets?
I think from talking to the manager, it was kind of, he didn't know where he would be with, like the amount of players he might have. So he didn't want so much pressure on the team as a whole if he didn't have the players to go in all those cups. I think that's kind of like where he was getting at with. And his focus is the league.
And with the players that you have, squad. Do you think your manager has not a starting 11, but there's kind of certain players that he relies and trusts to literally get the guys going?
Yeah, I think every team should have that. You're always gonna have your core that probably pick themselves, and then whoever's available. People get injuries and commitments on Saturdays. People got families and stuff. So, but from our perspective, I don't really think our team is changing much week after week. And I mean, certain games we've had, he's got like 20 people available. He can only pick 17.
And with the 16 or 17 that actually come, how like do you keep everyone engaged? Players that are not getting, minutes, or what's the kind of communication like?
Well, he's told everyone from the beginning. Like, we had a meeting at the beginning of the season, and he's put it up there so everyone kind of knows where they stand on regards of that. But I think I think every week we've had 17 and everyone's played. So it's everyone's getting on the pitch. Do you know what I'm saying? You might not get, I don't know, you might not get the minutes that you want, some people, but they're still playing a part and they're still an important part of the family.
And for you personally, are you kind of happy with your performances so far?
Yeah, 100%. This team right now, playing in this team and playing a part of this team, I don't think I've enjoyed football as much as I am now in years. Like every week, I can't wait to just Saturday turn up, pack my bag the night before. Do you know what I'm saying? It's a good feeling all round. All round, it's nice. Obviously, it's better when you're winning, but like I said to you, the way that we prepare, I don't expect anything less than for us to go out there and win.
And there's a lot of people say, in terms of confidence and ability and hard work, if like everything is right, then literally you like have the perfect team. And Hollington, literally have that mix almost right.
Yeah, I think we've got a good platform. I mean, the forget the players, like the manager, the staff behind the scenes, like everyone has an important role to play, and they do it to their best of ability. It's just on the day for us as players to turn up, and when they're doing all that hard work, is to let us show our appreciation by going out there and doing what we can do.
Regarding the media side of Hollington,
yeah.
Do you guys record your game, or was it just the final that you recorded?
No, the final was the only game that we've recorded, but we get some people record like the goals and stuff, but like we don't record the actual like game.
And literally, how important is it for masters teams, vets teams to let you now start creating a digital footprint of goals, games, personalities? Because actually what you guys do really well, you like have almost like a player profile.
Yeah.
And I've not seen that in vets. And again, that kind of makes me want to know more about Hollington, and actually makes me want to know more about the individual players. I mean, how important is the digital side of
I guess for any team, it's as important as you make it as a team. But I think for us, it's important because look, everyone's given a lot of commitment to doing this. Do you know what I'm saying? So like these little things that we add in and the extras is building something, because in Masters football, like there's clearly something here. There's clearly something there for people to pay interest and see. Do you know what I'm saying?
There's been a lot of talk, and I've mentioned it on like my platform, and like I've had private conversations about probably merging some of the teams from Div 1 to Div 2.
Yeah.
Is that something you think that will benefit the league? And is it something that you like personally would like love to be involved with?
Yeah, look, 100% at any level football you play, you want to be playing the best teams. You want every week to be competitive. Excuse me. So I think merging, especially this season, and being involved in Division 2 and seeing little things that are happening, I think it's really important going forward that they do something like that, because I mean, how else are they going to keep players engaged and want to turn up? Because like you play in Division 2 yourself, like there's a lot of teams that I don't really feel like they're taking it serious enough for the teams that do want to take it serious.
No, it's true. And I've not really really said it, but I'll probably say it now, is that I'd say in the next 3 to 5 years, a lot of the teams that we're talking about or that we know will have folded.
Yeah. I'm kind of thinking to myself, some of the teams that we played this season already, are they even going to make it to the end of the season? I mean, how if you're a manager and you're putting in all your time and effort to running a team and running a football club, and you're turning up every week and getting results that, let's be honest, no team should be getting beaten like some of these teams are getting beaten. How do you then the following week gather 11 players to want to turn up and pay money to come and play football?
Very true.
It's not easy. It's not easy.
You've like seen how like close it is at the top. You know, you've got Wallenham, Seagas, yourselves, ourselves as well.
Yeah.
There's 4 teams, and I'm sure there's like another team as well. I can't figure out the name. Is it Kuya? How is it Kuya? But like there's about 5. Like yeah, you know, it's about 5 teams, and you're like the only teams. So I believe that are still unbeaten in the league. But Wallenham are doing well.
Yeah,
Seagas are still unbeaten. Sorry, as well. Like the competition is fierce in this league.
Yeah, it is. But the only way to win is keep winning, play everyone, and we'll see what happens after there. But I personally, and I know my teammates, we want to play everyone. Like, if we could play everyone now, we would.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, again, that kind of result, again, you know, should I'm not gonna say strike fear, but you know, beating someone 11, like it shows that relentlessness, and you know, and the sheer coldness in terms of wanting to put more past the team. It's kind of not just about beating a team; it's about really just killing a team off, and actually a result like that just shows that.
I don't know how to put this, but all right, yeah, we've played Norwood Lakers, yeah? So that's the first time we played them, and then like on the return fixture, mentally, we want to be in the heads before we've even stepped on the pitch. So that's part of playing well and executing the game plan that's put together on the day.
Yep. Facts. Millie, I'm not going to ask you the question in terms of Hollington's ambitions, because I know exactly what Hollington want to do. Yeah. So, but like Millie, captain of Hollington, thank you so much for coming on again at like short notice. Always a supporter of that. Not only shows and like people that support football, but again, you know, just a genuine guy. So, and literally, I want to thank you for that, man. Honestly, thank you so much for like coming on.
Where's man?
Thank you, man.
Thank you. See you later.
So, that's Millie from Hollington. Thank you for like coming on. Again, thank you to Conor Washington. Yes, George, you're a little bit late. Conor came off at 8 o'clock, probably too late, but I'm wondering which player Conor learned the most from, either teammates. I will literally, I'll actually give him a call. and literally see if he can give me a video response to that. So I will literally do that for you, George. And again, George, big supporter of the show. Paul Barrett came in when Nana was talking. Nana always talking honest and like sense. Holland Turn of come in, said big up Skip and great show. Thank you again to like the Hollington guys. And again, big shout out to like everyone that's tuned in. Conor Washington, Millie, Owen, Nana, everyone that's that's been watching. Just to let everyone know that I have a show on Monday called The Starting 11. Please tune in, 8 o'clock. They'll be talking about the Arsenal Chelsea game, the Liverpool Spurs game, and it's a non-stop banter. So please tune in every single Monday at 8 o'clock live. Please, again, get your comments and suggestions in. Again, I've got a show on Friday. I'm a partner of the Sunday Football League, and again, I have a show next week So again, thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Fabrice of the Amateur Football Platform. And yeah, just kind of follow, subscribe on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Have an amazing weekend, guys. Again, thank you everyone for tuning in.